Isang mapagpala at magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Isang malaking karangalan na ibahagi ko sa inyo ang mga bagong impormasyon mula sa hanay ng pambansang kapulisan na ngayon ay nasa gitna ng malawakang pagpapatupad ng batas sa ilalim ng umiiral na national public health crisis. But before I proceed, please allow me to extend the deepest gratitude of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and the Philippine nation to all our police frontliners who continue to hold the line against the unseen enemy with one hand and against the perennial enemies of the state with the other. Pinapaabot ng Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte ang kanyang lubos na pasasalamat sa inyong patuloy na paglilingkod at pagpatupad sa tungkulin sa kabila ng hirap at sakripisyo ng inyong dinaranas araw-araw. Ngayon ay samahan niyo akong talakayin ang mga programa na sinusulong at mga hakbang na ginagawa ng inyong pambansang kapulisan. Alam kong mahalaga ang araw na ito para sa buong kapulisan at sa inyong mga pamilya dahil damang-dama natin ang halaga ng bunga ng ating pagsisikap at paglilingkod sa natanggap natin na performance-based bonus at karagdagang hazard pay. The release of these benefits is not really long overdue, only much awaited because it is one of those rare occasions that we get to enjoy a financial windfall for the family in addition to our regular salaries. We are grateful to our government for always putting a premium on the morale and welfare of its workers in the uniformed services that we can only reciprocate with honest-to-goodness public service. Incidentally, I am giving a separate incentive of 10,000 pesos to each PNP personnel who successfully passed the 2019 bar examination. That amount represents your wardrobe allowance when you take your oath as members of the Philippine Bar. I am really happy that we are adding more police lawyers in the organization. Please seriously consider a professional career in the police service more than the prospects that await you in private practice. The PNP needs you. Let us pray harder that this pandemic will soon end so that our families can fully enjoy the fruits of our hard work and sacrifices. In my inspection sortie around Metro Manila yesterday, I personally witnessed the tireless dedication of our police personnel despite the heat, humidity, and extreme operating conditions in the front lines, for which I am extremely proud to take note as your leader. The national leadership is aware that many of you are now tired due to the long hours of duty, while some have in fact fell ill due to various medical conditions. The latest count as of today is that 96 PNP personnel were confirmed infected, 12 of whom since recovered while 3 died. We have to accept the reality that in this lonely battle, we get tired and we get sick. But if these were not enough, we also get improperly bashed over the most trivial issues. We continue to manage the required deployment of frontline police personnel for ECQ duties through regular rotation, alternately between quarantine cycles to allow our personnel to rest and prepare for the next round of duty. Protection for police frontliners through proper equipment, training, and best practices in biosafety and supportive healthcare have been relatively effective in providing our personnel with a margin of safety against exposure while on duty. To further expand capability of the PNP for supportive healthcare, later today, we will formally unveil 4 mega emergency quarantine facilities here in Camp Crame. That was made possible mainly through the generosity of SM Foundation. With a total bed capacity of 120, these quarantine facilities here in Camp Crame are designed to complement the capacity of hospitals and medical institutions. Earlier, the PNP assumed management and operations of the 294-bed quarantine facility at the PICC, while we are making final preparations to operate and manage another quarantine facilities at the Field Sports Complex that can accommodate 156 patients with mild to moderate cases. We are open to all possible means to mitigate the continued increase of COVID cases among our law enforcers, who are the country's last line of defense in maintaining order amidst our fight against contagion. We also look forward to developing our own COVID-19 testing center in our existing DNA laboratory and at the PNP General Hospital, as we completed our first RT-PCR testing laboratory, and at least 4 personnel from PNP Health Service and Crime Laboratory are now undergoing training that will be in charge to handle it. The testing center can handle and process 150 to 200 tests per day. I must thank each and every member of the PNP for taking part in probably the largest fund drive in PNP history. Regardless of the amount of individual donation, all of us, police commissioned officers, police commissioned non-officers, non-uniformed personnel of the PNP can rightfully claim to be a proud donor of the 220,371,471 pesos PNP Bayanihan Fund that we have collected, even overshooting our initial target of 200 million. As the Team PNP Bayanihan Fund Challenges culminates today, and after some accounting and auditing procedures to ensure transparency and accountability, we are now ready to turn over the full amount of 220 million pesos to the National Treasury to augment government funds for social amelioration programs to feed the poorest of the poor and help the needy. In response to national government action to contain the pandemic, the Philippine National Police has laid down solid plans to implement the general community quarantine and extended enhanced community quarantine in some areas of the country. A newly crafted PNP action plan is out of the drawing boards that will strategize police operations and administration in response to the extension of ECQ in Metro Manila, Central Luzon, Calabarzon, and selected provinces and cities across the country, and as well as to all the other areas under the general community quarantine, or what we shall henceforth come to know as the new normal. We strongly encourage everyone to remain mindful of minimum standards of physical and social distancing, most especially those areas under GCQ, with relaxed quarantine measures and influx of people due to easing of ECQ protocol in some areas. We are aware of plans by militant, cause-oriented groups to stage public assembly and mass actions in several venues on May 1 in commemoration of Labor Day. Much as we respect their right to peaceably assemble out of the exigency of a health crisis situation, we beg to discourage them from pursuing these plans for their own safety and in the best interest of public health. Let me emphasize that the strict enforcement of the ECQ is the state's fulfillment of its duty to protect the right to life of its people, especially against those who violate it by asserting their liberties, which in this case is not absolute and which inevitably spreads the contagion further. Arrests, detention, fines, and other penalties for violating the state's ECQ rules are imposed to hold violators accountable. Still on public issues in mass gatherings, we are grateful to the local Muslim community for their cooperation in making certain adjustments to their observance of religious rites during the holy month of Ramadan, which are compliant with minimum standards set by national health officials. With this gesture of unity towards a common objective, we thank our Muslim brethren for their understanding. In our assessment of the past 44 days since the ECQ was implemented on March 17, there has been a significant decrease in the number of violators, particularly during the period of the first extension in the 3rd and 4th weeks of April. These are encouraging signs of how the people will eventually adapt to the new normal. As we take a proactive stance at yet another extended term of the ECQ, PNP unit commanders have been instructed to optimize rotation of personnel so everyone can rest well and prepare for the days ahead. Makakaasa ang ating mga kababayan na patuloy ang pagtulong ng inyong pambansang kapulisan, hindi lamang bilang mga tagapagpantay at tagapagpanatili ng kaayusan sa komunidad, kundi bilang isang organisasyon na tumutulong sa mga kababayan natin na kapuspalad sa lahat ng oras. Sa lahat ng panahon at oras, asahan nyo na narito ang buong puwersa ng Philippine National Police na handang gampanan ang tungkulin kasama ang ating mga kapatid mula sa Armed Forces of the Philippines, mga kawani ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno at mga frontliners na kasama natin sa pagsugpo sa COVID-19. Katuwang ng sambayanang Pilipino, buong tapang nating isulong ang laban upang matagumpayan natin ang krisis na ito sa pamamagitan ng ating pinagsamang lakas. Pagpalain nawa tayo ng buong may kapal, mabuhay ang Team PNP, mabuhay ang sambayanang Pilipino. As usual, there were questions coming from the members of the media at meron din tayong galing na mga opinion sa ating Facebook page. So sa galing sa media, ano po ang desisyon ni Chief PNP kay Master Sergeant Florendo Jr. since na RFI yung isinampang homicide? Balik po na muna ulit siya sa trabaho. Now, the RFI status of the homicide is being the action taken by the prosecution. No? But on the part of the administrative case, he is still under restrictive custody because it's the internal affairs of the PNP who is acting on the administrative case. However, I have heard that Napolco might take jurisdiction over the case. In whatever case, Police Master Sergeant Florendo will still remain under restrictive custody in QCPD. Hindi ba depleted ang staff ng PNP Health Service to look after PNP members considering na marami na ang pulis na positive, probable, and suspect sa COVID? The PNP medical team is also tasked to man the PICC quarantine areas together with the one at Field Sports in Pasig. Medyo marami, ano? Una, kaya namang i-handle, no? Kasi ang Philippine National Police, marami kaming tinatanggap sa kapulisan na basta't baccalaureate degree holder. At marami kami sa inventory, mga doktor, mga medical technologists, at even mga nurses who are actually in the regular force of the PNP. So ito yung meron kaming binuo na medical reserve force na kaya namang gampanan kahit ibigay pa sa amin yung Phil Sports Arena sa Pasig. At kahit na meron kaming mga positive, mga probable sa suspects, araw-araw naman bumabalik din ito pag tapos na sila ng kanilang quarantine. No? Recently, sa isang quarantine area namin na out of 100 plus doon na quarantine, may nakalabas na 76 kasi tapos na yung kanilang quarantine at ito'y nagkaroon na rin ng negative results doon sa kanilang tests. Kaya pwede rin silang bumalik. Matagal na namin pinlano ito na meron talagang magandang rotation, taking consideration yung pagpapahinga na at the same time nagka-quarantine yung ating mga kapulisan. Bibigyan po ba ng promotion commendation si Master Sergeant Madrona na nagtangkang umaresto kay Javier Salvador? Pero sabi po ng CHR, posible na may nalabag din daw si Madrona since nasa loob na siya ng bakuran ni Salvador. Your take on this, sir? Ano po ang sagot sa inyo ng Dasmariñas Village Management sa nangyari recently? Promotion, hindi, no? Kasi very stringent naman ang requirement ng PNP kung kailan tayo pwede mag-grant ng meritorious promotion, no? Actually, nangyayari ito even traditionally, even before, is usually sa mga combat zone. No? So ito naman si Police Master Sergeant Madrona is tinupad lang naman niya ang usual na tungkulin ng isang police. No? So hindi rin siya mag-qualify for meritorious promotion. Kung ano ang sinabi ng CHR at may mga ibang tanong na maraming nagsasabi dito on other entities na may mga violation, then we invite them to investigate themselves kung merong nalabag na mga possible human rights violation ang kapulisan. Ang sagot ng Dasmariñas, I haven't been communicating with them. They have not communicated with me also. So far, wala akong feedback dito sa kung meron bang feedback yung Dasmariñas Village Management. But of course, when I went there yesterday, my instruction is that we implement the law fairly and then walang exempted. So lahat equally i-implement natin yung batas. With the shift to the new normal, what would be the PNP priorities in terms of training of personnel and procurement? Actually, napakarami ng implication kasi meron ding nag-issue na yung Department of Budget and Management, Memorandum Circular 580, reducing the program activities for the entire year, because to address also yung ating problema dito sa COVID-19. Pero ang isang general direction na tinatahak ng Philippine National Police is to go digital, full digital. We have money for that, so itutuloy namin yung pagbili nito kasi dahil nakita nyo sa conferences ngayon nga, kung pwede, hindi na mag-attend lahat, virtual na lang. So ito generally yung pinakamalaking budget na involved ang PNP at ito yung probably isa sa mga game changer dito sa Philippine National Police na i-implement na namin itong ICT roadmap na gagawin namin sa Philippine National Police. Will the PNP consider procuring tasers so the policemen would have options on the ground on what to use during situations similar to what happened in QC? Do you think na kailangan ng tasers ng police, especially in urban areas, when dealing with situations na ang isang violator would become violent? Yes, it's part of the plan of the PNP for, ang tawag namin dito is non-violent, or those equipment na hindi siya other than the firearm. So, lumalabas ito, meron nga yung mga taser and then meron pa yung tinatawag na mechanized na parang iipunin niya yung tao at ito gamit ang makina, hindi gamit ang tao ng mga kapulisan. But all of these things are being evaluated by the Directorate for Logistics under the Procurement Management Committee, who deliberates on what to procure. From the resources perspective, how is the PNP doing in terms of disbursement and budgeting for frontline units? Have you been forced to realign or reallocate from other programs to fund frontline operations? Nung nagsimula ito, nakatanggap naman ang Philippine National Police ng separate appropriation purposely for our COVID campaign. No? At ito naman sapat so far. But of course, with the advent of the issuance of a new DBM circular on reduction of program activities, makaka-apekto talaga. But that's why we're on our drawing boards to revisit what would be the effect of that certain percentage reductions on program activities. So may mga activity talaga na hindi matutuloy, pero those that are essential in law enforcement, then kailangan din namin ituloy ito hanggang sa katapusan ng taon. Nag-express po ng concern ang United Nations at tinawag na highly militarized ang response ng Philippine government sa pag-contain ng COVID-19. Ano pong reaksyon ng PNP dito? Kailan po target maging operational ang COVID testing center ng PNP at saan po ito itayo? As I have said, no, all those who are accusing the PNP na marami kaming na-violate na human rights, then we're open for you to investigate the Philippine National Police. On our part, we keep on reminding our policemen, and whenever merong incidents na mangyari, kami naman nagkakaroon ng impartial investigation. No? And we update the public kung ano ang nangyari sa mga investigation na to. Yung COVID center na sabi ko na, part of our DNA testing center doon sa crime lab, is yun yung mag-host ng testing center, but we're also putting up another testing center doon sa health service, which will actually permanently house the testing center for RT-PCR for COVID-19 cases. Malacanang said that police must strictly enforce the ECQ, but at the same time practice common sense in dealing with the people, especially those buying food, other necessities from places outside their barangays. How can those two things be implemented at the same time when you have ordered the arrest of all ECQ violators, no second chance for them anymore? Well, siyempre tao din tayo, ano? That's why pinapairal din natin yung humanitarian side of it. As a matter of fact, kung makita nyo ang response ng Interagency Task Force, doon sa initial guidelines na ginawa doon sa GCQ, meron ding ibang mga exemptions. At ganito nga yun, no? And what I'm happy to announce is that nung bumaba nga yung violations ng ECQ, it made things easier for the PNP, no? And less discretion kung sino yung ipapunish at sino yung wawarningan, no? So that's why in itself nandun pa rin talaga yung balance nito sa mga kapulisan. But I think and I'm confident na meron namang enough discretion yung kapulisan to exercise and meet both ends. Anong difference sa police operations in GCQ areas? May easing of restrictions ba? Being a lawyer, baka may call po kayo for some lawyers to join the police force. Ilan caps po ang pumasa sa bar exam? Ito namang restrictions on the general community quarantine, it's really up for the Interagency Task Force to stipulate. No? At kami naman nagpapatupad lang kung ano yung mga palisiyan na gagawin ng Interagency Task Force. Sa lawyer, hindi namin alam kung ilan ang pumasa, no? But proudly nag-post yung mga members ng Philippine National Police Academy Alumni Association na meron silang 2008, 2009, 2010 at isang 2011. So 5 yon. And we also have other corporals and patrolmen who also pass the bar. No? But hindi pa namin na-consolidate at tiningnan talaga kung ilan ito. But nevertheless, we encourage them to stay in the service. No? Hindi naman sila automatic na mag-a-assign sa legal service dahil choice nila yon. No? Kasi pag na-assign sila at nagpa-assign sila sa legal service, of course, they automatically get the rank of police captain. However, they will be following a different career path already pag doon sila pumasok sa legal service. Sa Labor Day po, may na-monitor po ba kayong plano ng mga rallies na magpapanggap na mamimigay ng relief goods? Kung meron man, anong region po? Ano po ang countermeasure na gagawin ng PNP? Of course, I would like to convince the people that we cannot announce our countermeasures now, because this is precisely why our countermeasures are supposed to be kept among ourselves. But we have countermeasures. Now, as to the information, may nangyari na, no? May nangyari na, and I hope hindi ito tularan ng iba, kasi nga hindi ito panahon para ganitong klaseng mga aksyon, no? Anyway, the government is doing its best to address all the problems of COVID-19. Ilan po ang pulis na kapasasabar? Ito na yun, ano? At automatic ba sila maging member ng legal service? Nasagot ko na rin. Assurance po ng PNP na hindi pa rin nito mapapabayaan ang kampanya kontra droga kahit may ECQ sa kabila ng pagkakahuli ng ilang drug suspect na nagpapat session daw sa loob mismo ng ambulansya para makalusot sa checkpoint. Yes, we find some circumstances na ganito, but nevertheless, continuous pa rin yung effort kasi hindi naman na-dissolve yung aming mga drug enforcement unit. As a matter of fact, very evident, may mga confiscation kami na 1 kilo, more than 1 kilo, at so many number of grams, no? Halos hindi naman relentless naman halos yung campaign namin sa illegal drugs, no? We will just come up and inform the media later on the specifics, no? Kung ilan na ang aming accomplishment in terms of number of arrests, number of operations conducted, and number of the total amount confiscated of drugs for our campaign against illegal drugs. What is the status of the PNP anti-illegal drugs operations? Yan na rin yung nabasa ko kanina, no? Some rights group, yun, sinasabi nila na heavily handed. What is your take? Nasagot ko na rin yan kanina, no? Tungkol dun sa alleged human rights violation. With the movement to GCQ in some areas of the country, is there an adjustment in terms of deployment and operations in terms of protocol and general security measures? Yes, no? Kasi magpapatupad ng different health security requirements or health security measures na gagawin ang iba't ibang ahensya, no? Sa DOH, yung pagdating sa hospital, Department of Transportation pagdating sa transport, DTI pagdating sa construction and other related manufacturing. So depende talaga kung ano ang ilalabas nila, but the Philippine National Police would always be ready to implement whatever the policies that would be handed down by the Interagency Task Force. Ganun pa rin, no? With the movement of GCQ, is there an adjustment? Pareho pa rin na sagot. No? And then, as you mentioned earlier, policemen are only human. That's why they're also prone to errors in judgment when tired and stressed. No? Case in point, you see cop who beat kid with a stick. Is there any chance the frontliners are not getting enough rest? What is the guidance for stress and load management among personnel? Tungkol doon sa QC, no, pinaimbestigahan ko na, tinawagan ko si District Director, and currently they are investigating on that alleged beating, no, nung stick. But sinabi ko nga sa mga kapulisan, even when I rounded up yesterday dito sa NCR, hindi pwede maging rason na pagod tayo, napakainit, na hindi natin, na makalimutan natin yung police operational procedure. At sinabihan ko rin yung mga commanders to keep on reminding our policemen, no, na sundin yung police operational procedure. And then, yung rotation, yes, isa din yung sa emphasis ko kahapon. Nagtanong ako mismo sa kapulisan, pagkatapos mong mag-duty, anong ginagawa mo, paano yung sanitation mo, paano pagbibisita ka sa pamilya mo, how well have you rested, paano rotation, and all of these things were satisfactorily answered. And I'm convinced that our policemen deployed are getting enough protection and are also getting enough rest. But however, isang question dito na nag-request ang NCRPO for augmentation, Then meron tayong reserve force na national headquarters who are ready to be deployed at any point in the country. No? So as soon as we evaluate the request of the NCRPO, we are ready to deploy our reserve force coming from the national headquarters. May mga ibang katanungan dito sa FP page, no, which are medyo personal kasi parang gustong umuwi kasi stranded siya. So we just like you to get in touch with us, no, para maayos natin ito individual na concern. No, when it comes to health, na provide po ba yung mga needs ng kapulisan, tamang tulog, pahinga o tirahan, lalo galing sa mga province. Good job po ang mga kapulisan. Maraming salamat, ano? But again, sinabi ko naman, ako mismo nag-evaluate kahapon, and I am very confident that all our commanders are doing their job para makapagpahinga at maproteksyonan yung mga pulis na nasa front lines. As per ECQ guideline na maximum 3 persons including driver sa cargos with or without load, we are in trucking business dealing with essential goods. Will inform po ba ang kapulisan na maximum 3 sa bawat cargo? Dito po kasi nagkaka-issue ang mga driver at delivery team, particularly sa area ng Cavite. Kahit magpakita ang delivery team ng documents at delivery receipt, certificate of transporting goods and DTI certificate. Binigyan pa rin ng ticket ang driver at kinuha ang driver license. Ilang driver na po ang nag-give up dahil sa bayad ng violation. Remember, yung violation at punishment ng ECQ violation is distinct and separate. Pag ikaw driver, binigyan ka ng ticket ng highway patrol, ibang rason yun. No? Probably baka expired yung driver's license mo, or may violation ka mismo as a driver at yung truck na dala mo. Baka may violation. Kasi hindi pwedeng mag-issue ang highway patrol ng ticket na ang violation mo ECQ. No? So, ang violation, I'm sure, is a traffic violation pertaining to the national law covering traffic regulation. Last, serve and protect our citizenry, provide face masks to those without it. It will make a big difference in winning the hearts of the Filipinos. The PNP is a public serving institution created for the people whom they must serve and protect. Salute to all personnel who are living the mandate of being good cops. So, pasensya na kayo, no? Dahil meron kaming ginawang fundraising, yung aming Bayanihan Fund Challenge, pero naka-project na para ibigay namin sa poorest of the poor. But nevertheless, meron din namang donations na meron sa Philippine National Police at kung kailangan, pwede naman kaming mag-share ng mga ito. So hanggang dito, and I hope to see you next week. At sana kung may mga mapaabot kayo ng mga questions earlier para masagot din natin pag meron tayong virtual presser. Once again, a pleasant good afternoon to everyone.